Today we're going to do notes on lesson 2-3. The transformation we're going to talk about today is called reflection. To define reflection, reflection is the mirror image of a figure. The line of reflection, the line in which the figure is flipped over. So the next directions say, tell whether the shaded figure is a reflection of the non-shaded figure. So here we start with this pentagon. This is the non-shaded figure. This is the line of reflection, and this is the image. So we need to know, is this image a reflection of the original? And the answer is, it's kind of like if you were to take and fold this piece of paper on top of this line, would those two shapes end up on top of each other? The answer is no, they would not. So the answer for this one is no. Now over here, this circle, it's almost like a no circle, do not do something. If we were to take the non-shaded figure and flip it over this line of reflection, would we end up with this image? And the answer to that is yes. Therefore, this is a reflection. For the last one, again, take the non-shaded figure, which is on the bottom. Make sure you read the directions carefully. Reflect it over the line of reflection. Do we end up with this image? And once again, the answer is yes. To reflect a figure in the x-axis, you are going to take the opposite. So opposite of the y-coordinate. Therefore, if you see this down here, this is your rule. Coordinates xy become x, comma, negative y. So what's happening, and I like to say this to get it into your head, if you're reflecting over the x-axis, then x stays the same. Okay, next we are going to draw the figure and its reflection in the x-axis. Identify the coordinates of the new image. So when the directions say in the x-axis, right here, right here, that means we're going to reflect it over the x-axis. The first thing we're going to do is write the coordinates of the original figure. So here we go. We have 1, 2 for A, which tells you right here. 3, 2 for B, right here, and finally C is 1, 4. Again, we get that info from up there. So let's graph those plots. So 1 up 2 is right there, 3 up 2 is right there, 1 up 4, it's kind of hard. So let's connect them, and I also want to label them correctly. This is A, B, and C. And I think if I zoom in, I'll get a little bit better quality. So now I'm going to reflect them over the x-axis, which means I'm going to take all of the x-coordinates and leave them the same. So I'm just going to leave all the x-coordinates the same. However, if you see, all the y-coordinates are multiplied by -1. So here 2 becomes -2. Again, 2 becomes -2. And 4 becomes -4. So now I'm going to graph these coordinates right here. Alright, so 1, -2 is right there. 3, -2 right here. 1, -4. Connect them and label them correctly. So this would be A prime for that point, B prime for this point, and C prime. And that is a reflection over the x-axis. If we were to take our paper and fold it on this line, the line of reflection, x-axis, the original image would end up on the reflected image. Okay, next one, number 5. Let's write the original coordinates that were given. So W is 3, 1, X is 3, 4, Y is 1, 4, and Z is going to be 1, 1. So now I'm going to graph those. 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 4, 1, 1. connect them, and then label them as well. W, X, Y, Z. And again, we are reflecting over the x-axis. So we're going to take all the x coordinates and keep them the same. So it will be 3, 3, 1, and 1. The y coordinates just get multiplied by -1. So 1 goes to -1, 4 goes to -4. Again, 4 goes to -4, and 1 goes to -1. Realize if you started with a negative number, it would end up going to a positive number. It just flips the sign of whatever the number is. All right, so let's graph these new points. 3, -1 right here. 3, -4 here. 1, -4. 1, -1. So we have W prime, X prime, Y prime, and Z prime. Realize it is a reflection, it's not just a translation. And the reason why you know that it's a reflection is because the W, if it was a translation, W would still be on the bottom of this figure, but it's not. It's a reflection over the x-axis. So W is on bottom here, but it's on the top of the figure over here. So that's why this tells you it's definitely a reflection. All right, so next page says reflect a figure in the y-axis. This time we are going to take the opposite of the x-coordinate. So again, I'm going to write a rule that might help you. Reflect over y, y stays the same. So xy goes to -xy. So x changes its sign, but y does not. So let's graph the figures below. Number 6 says we have J, K, L. Let's write the coordinates for those guys. J is 3, 4. K is 3, 0. L is 2, 4. So let's graph those. 3. So we go over to the right 3 and up 4. Put a dot there. And if you want, you can label that right away with J. Over to the right 3, 0, that's K. And then over to the right 2, up 4, and that would be L. Okay, it's a little bit hard to do it on the computer screen, but on graph paper you guys should be good to go. Now let's reflect them over the y-axis. So this time we are reflecting over the y-axis. So the rule is that all the y's stay the same. So I'm going to start back here and say 4, 0, and 4. Those won't change. But the x-coordinates get multiplied by -1. So 3 goes to -3. Once again, 3 goes to -3, and 2 goes to -2. So let's graph the image. -3, 4 would be here. And that would be J prime. -3, 0 would be here. That would be K prime. And finally, -2, 4 would be up here. And that's L prime. We connect the dots, and that is our image. And like I said, try to do the best you can with staying on the line. All right, number 7. 7 has 4 points. Let's write the original coordinates. So 2, 2 for M, 2, 3 for N, 3, 3 for P, and 4, 1 for Q. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit because I have a feeling it's going to be hard for me to put the little dots there. So 2, 2, then we have 2, 3, 3, 3, and 4, 1. It's like a little kite. Label them. So this was M, N, P, Q. Now, in order to reflect over the y-axis, we are going to keep, it's the y-axis, we're going to keep all the y-coordinates the same, but change the x-coordinates. So if you would like to keep the y-coordinates first the same, we have 2, 3, 3, and 1. And then your x-coordinates get multiplied by -1, so -2, -2, -3, and -4. So now I'm going to graph those on the coordinate plane. So we have -2 up 2 is your m prime. -2 up 3 is n prime. -3 up 3 is p prime. And -4 up 1 is q prime. Connect the dots, and there is your image that is reflected over the y-axis. All right, let's continue. In a pinball game, when you perfectly reflect the ball off the wall, will the ball hit the bonus target? So, what we have to do is, this is the ball right here. When you perfectly hit it off the wall, is it going to hit the target? And I believe the target is the bonus. So let's just make sure that's clear. So that is the target. And the target is at coordinates 2, 3. All right. Well, the ball is starting at coordinates, what is that? 2, -4. So when it travels along this path, it will reflect over the x-axis here. So is it going to hit the target at 2, 3? Well, if we were going to reflect 2, 4, which is the original xy, over the x-axis, that means x stays the same and y goes to the opposite sign, well, we would end up at 2, and then the opposite of -4. -4 times -1 is a +4. So we would end up right here. It would reflect and hit there. Do we hit the target? And the answer is no. The ball will not hit the target. And that wraps up your notes for lesson 2-3.